It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Well, Ms. DeRoza, Felica, owner of Dayrosia, and all things beautiful and smell delicious. Welcome back to Mind Your Business.
Thank you.
So today we're going to focus on you
Yes.
and talk a little bit about your start, where you were, how you got here, and what your big vision is for Dayrosia. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I know you've been here before, but just in case the people don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So hi, Jamillah. I'm Felica, and I am the owner of Dayrosia. So some of your viewers may know me as the Butterfly Lady.
Mm-hmm.
I did start out with that name and have transitioned to Dayrosia. And yeah, I started as a massage therapist. I'm still a massage therapist. Been doing that for about 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started creating body butters for myself. I do have eczema, and I just decided I wanted something that I knew exactly what was in it and that worked for my skin. And from there, people began stopping me and asking me, what are you using? Are you selling it? And I was like, no, not really, but I'll give you something to try. And it just kind of grew from there.
I love that. Like when a business happens organically, because you were like, well, I have this problem. And you don't realize so many other people probably are suffering from similar problems. And if you have a solution, then why not, right?
Yeah. I mean, eczema is very prevalent amongst our community. It wasn't as spoken about when I was coming up. So, aging myself. But anyway.
Well, we can't tell from looking, so I don't know.
And I had it from birth. It was really bad up until my late teens.
Okay.
Into my early 20s. And I kind of grew out of it now, so most people look at me and like,
I'm like, where? That's what I'm like, where?
I still do. I do. I have flare-ups. Usually it's stress related for me, but still something that I wanted to tackle. And so that's how my journey to skincare and beauty began.
So how did you figure it out though? Like were you just like, I'm gonna put all of this together and then make something? Like what was that process like?
The process, a lot of research, reading labels. I started reading labels in the pharmacies. I was like, I don't know what this is. I know that's not gonna work for me. It was just some things that I knew were not gonna work for my skin. You use products and it doesn't. 2 seconds later, you're dry.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's not going to work. So I got tired of just buying products. And so I decided, well, I'll just start. I did start with shea butter. My skin does not take to shea butter. It's not for everyone.
Right.
A lot of people don't believe that. Or
that's true.
They just like, there is a big shea butter market on the island.
Yeah.
But it's just not for everyone. And so I transitioned. I tried other butters. I have now settled on coconut butter. And my skin loves it. I use it in lotion bars and such. I even now use it in my soaps. So it's just something that you just constantly work at to find what works for your skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people are receiving it, obviously.
Yes, they are.
And I mentioned, I'm like, you walked in and I'm like, oh my God, you smell delicious.
Thank you.
So sourcing, I guess, the scents and knowing how to mix them all together, I like to think myself a creative person, but I know my limitations. Okay, so that you have that kind of skill set where you can do that naturally, and then do it to the point where you can sell it to others. I think is admirable.
It's a lot. You have to be very cognizant of where you're sourcing. Your products to bring into the island, and be aware that if someone has a reaction, you have to be prepared for that. And that's one thing that I think eventually will come to Bermuda. We don't have anyone that oversees that. We don't have like a Bermuda FDA.
Right.
But I do follow those guidelines. I do work with other overseas soap makers. Some are aware of changes that are happening in the U.S. And I think in time that will eventually filter into Bermuda.
Okay. So, Dayrosia, you were a butterfly.
Yes.
What made you decide to change to Dayrosia, and what does that change encompass? Like, is it more products? What does it actually consist of?
So the change from butterfly came about because of trademark. You can't trademark butterfly. Butterfly
because
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not something that I could trademark in that way. So it was suggested to change the name. I was attached to Butterfly.
Of course,
it was my baby. I was going through transitions, and everyone knows how the butterfly comes about. But then I sat down and I really thought about it, and I thought about where I wanted to take the business. I knew that I wanted a business name that was just one word, just to stand out. And then I was encouraged to use my own name, and I was dreaming big. I was like, when I sell my business, I don't want to sell my name.
Right.
It's my name.
Right.
And a lot of my friends call me by my last name and variations of it. And so I just thought, well, it's my name and I can use it. And I decided to go with a version of my last name that I was still happy with. I'm in love with it. And when people hear it now, they know, like, they associate, oh, that's Felica.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's a great marketing tool. And for me, it's just, it was combining not only my massage business, but the products. And I just wanted everything to be under one umbrella. I'm in one location. I have my massage side and I have my production side. So it just works. And so looking forward to moving forward with 2023.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that. What you going to be doing,
so
girl?
many big plans for 2023. And so everything is like, I'm now into that mindset of first quarter, second quarter.
Yeah.
These are the plans for each quarter and the growth of it all.
So I mean, I think being a massage therapist and then providing body kind of products, it's very complementary, right? Because you can have people that come in, like you said, eczema is something that is a problem. So as a therapist, I would imagine you would see that and be like, I got something for you. I can fix that. So it makes sense to me. And I know from people who have told me who don't even live in Bermuda, they're like, her products work.
Yeah.
And so I would ask you, what do you think? Because everybody's making soaps, everybody's making scrubs, and everybody's making body type products. So what separates Dayrosia from the pack?
I have never promoted my product as eczema relief.
Right.
I've never put that label on it. I've allowed the customers to come back and tell me that it cleared up issues that they had. So that's always a great feeling. I know it works for myself, but to be able to have the clients to come back and say, I used your stuff and I had this problem and it just cleared up after a couple of days. I've been using it ever since. I just stick to the formulas that work. You know, I've streamlined my product offering. I don't make as much body butters as I used to. The focus is actually the soaps and taking that where I can, incorporating the local ingredients, aloe, prickly pear, gooseberries, things that people are not like aware of.
So
it's like gooseberries, like loquats in soap, yes. And they really help to start the skincare process for your skin. Cleansing is everything. So once you start with a good cleanser in that way, then the steps after that are just building on top of that. So,
I mean, I think if you think about it, there's a such thing or a phrase, eat to live, right? So you can have products that you consume internally that are good for you, right? It makes sense that if you put those things on your skin, that they would also be good because they have vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B, all of these things that the skin and body needs.
And the skin is your largest organ. So
that's right.
Once you take care of that, and you know, and it also, for me with these soaps, it just makes bath time, shower time so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, I have customers that come back and say, like, after I got a shower, my house smells so delightful.
This is what I'm
like
telling
the fragrance just smells nice. And you're in there and they're like, oh my God, I waste your soap because I'm just lathering up like 3-4 times and I don't need to because it just feels great. And so that's an even bigger like self-care aspect to bath time should be enjoyable. It's like, take the time. It's 15, 20 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
Rock with it,
yeah.
you know? Like, that's
and
your
buy
time.
My soaps.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll be in the shower and my biggest ideas come through while I'm in the shower.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm mindlessly like, have I lathered up like 3 times already?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have an idea and it's like, oh my God, let me hop out the shower and write it down real quick. So it just helps you in tune with yourself and what's going on. So that's like a big plus.
So when you talk about Dayrosia, well, let me ask you this, because I feel like you said you're a massage therapist, and you did talk about what you did before you did that, which I'm going to ask you, but have you always wanted to be the CEO or own your own business?
Yes.
Okay.
That was always the goal. Many people don't know I was a customs officer many years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was a customs officer many years ago. And I decided I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I decided I was going back to school, and people thought I was crazy. You're leaving a solid custom job. Yes. People have other dreams outside of that, right? And I knew I had a dream, and I decided to go to do massage therapy. I came back, started working for myself. I did work at a establishment that did not last long. I did not like how the staff were treated, and I just said, I will not do this. I will forever work for myself. And a girlfriend of mine just reminded me like 2 weeks ago that Felicia, like, you stuck with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And she was like, you don't remember how you were like, I hate this place. That's so terrible to the staff. And it was like, I'm just going to work for myself. And she's like, and you've done it. Like, here you are 16 years later. And it's like, really? And she's like, yes. And then you worked at a garage, like 11 years. Exactly. So it was like, oh, right. And she's like, you stuck to that. Yeah. And you forget that. You know, my friends have to remind me.
Yeah, sometimes, because I feel
as
like
business owners, we forget.
We do.
Or we're so entrenched in it and trying to make it. It's like, you don't realize, like, the years that have gone by. Like, I started making body butters, I think, like, 2016. And it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Right. And just the journey. And I've been on the verge of quitting or just shutting it down many times, and every single time I was like, I can't do both, because I co-owned a car garage with my dad. I was doing that I ended up in that full time, which was never the original plan. But that journey taught me so much more in business than I probably ever would have learned just going at it alone. And having staff and getting to know the government departments that needed to be dealt with and all those sorts of things. So I'm thankful for that journey. But then I just got to a point where I recognized that wasn't my dream. Right. The garage was my dad's dream, and I couldn't live out his dream. And I decided in 2018 that I was going to make a change. I kept thinking about it. 2019, I was like, 2020.
That's your year. Yeah. In the middle of COVID.
In the middle of COVID. You know, COVID wasn't even thought of it when I started sitting on it, talking to my dad, and was like, I'm going to shift out of this. And there was fear, because it's like, what you mean? You're not going to be here every day? Yeah. You know, and there was fear on my end, like, I don't know how, but I'm going to flip it. I'm not going to be here every day. Not no 9 to 5. I'll pop in, but I have to go and fulfill my dream. Like, I knew what my passion was, and that if I gave 100% to massage and products, I would enjoy it more. I was becoming like, I was so tired. It was like, well, I'm going to give this up. But every time I went to give it up, a new opportunity will pop up. You know, I was the vendor that was able to go away with the BDC to New York to do a market in Brooklyn that has fostered so many contacts. Like, I still talk to Dustin and, like, going to be working on some things in 2023.
That's so exciting.
So, you know, like, it was a big opportunity, and, like, I was just days before, like, I'm tired, and I was like, please, you want to go to New York? Sure. And I was like, wait, what? I'm giving this up. And then I came back from that, And again, months later, was ready to walk away and got a call from an agent in British Virgin Islands to work with a company that was doing international gift boxes. And once again, I was pulled back in, so it was like the universe was sending me signs.
Yeah, and sometimes you have
me signs.
Yeah,
it was like, no, you can't give up on this. And the ideas that pour in, I sit on them, second guess myself, but that's over. So.
I was gonna say, like, how that is an issue that we have. You know, I think human beings, we always, first of all, it's a risk, right? So you already took the risk. You started your own business. You know what that's like. But then it's trusting
the process.
That you have what it takes to actually do this thing.
Very much so. And continuously learning. You know, people like, you're doing another BEDC course? Yes. It's a new business. In a sense. Like, Dayrosia is a whole new business.
And I appreciate that approach, right? Because learning to me is continuous. You can say, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 16 years, but there's always something.
Always something. The world's changing.
It's a consistent change.
Shipping has increased exponentially. And now everyone is so centered on like women-owned businesses and what that looks like. But women-owned businesses struggle. You know, struggle financially. The opportunities for finances, we feel as though it's not there, or you second guess. You just like, should I not? And you really have to just wake up every day and do the work, set a plan, which is now 2023 goals.
So let's talk about this plan now. Let's talk about some of the things.
Yes.
Okay. So Dayrosia is here to stay. We're finished with that. We're not doing this anymore, right? We've gone through that. So what are some of the things that we can look forward to?
For 2023, it's about go big or go home.
Okay.
As Nikki Fagan has drilled into my head. And it's just like, Felicia, you have amazing ideas. We're going to stop talking about them and bring them to life. The rocket pitch that I fought against doing, and eventually I won the pitch pink, which was tourism, to focus on getting the product into hotels, vacation rental homes. So that's the goal for 2023. To focus on the tourism aspect of it. Tourists do come, they look for local made products. They want to know, like, it's not just manufactured overseas and shipped into Bermuda. They love to know that when they see me at Harbor Nights and different events, it's like, you make all of these yourself? Yes. Even locals. You know, because I have a variety of soaps. Very rarely you'll find the same items on my table at any given event. So that's what drives people to come back, because they always find it. And that's my new favorite soap. It's always a new favorite soap. So for 2023, it's really about going hard for the tourism market. And what that can look like.
I mean, that's exciting, because now it opens you up, because the person that came here from Canada or the UK or Australia or wherever they're from is going to be like, oh, I need that soap. So now,
you got to get upgrading everything, rebranding. It is never ending when it comes to your business. You got it right for a number of years, and then realize as you grow as the entrepreneur business owner, the business has to grow and change with you, right?
It's true.
Your clientele changes, your products and services change. Like I said, I started with body butters. I don't do as many of this. I still do personally for myself. I've moved into lotion bars, which are in tubes now. Changing the packaging from plastic to paper as much as possible. It's so many bits and pieces that have to work together. And this year I hope to expand on my number of employees.
That's exciting.
The growth is going to be exponential, but just looking forward to it all.
And I think it's necessary. I mean, I know you personally, like, this is your baby. It really is. You're pouring into these soaps, right? That's probably why they work so good.
Very much so. I don't make soap that I'm having a bad day. My energy's not great. It's not because I use my hands, and that's energy. Energy is everything. I'm a massage therapist, so my hands are my biggest source of life.
Yeah.
And so if I don't feel good, the product's not going to come out great.
Right.
And you transfer that to people.
Right. So in terms of production, well, it's only one Felisa.
It is.
So.
It is.
So how... I guess this is part of that process,
Yes.
right? And part of the hiring is because you recognize that
Yes.
in order to grow and be able to meet the demand that's now going to be coming from outside of
Everywhere.
Bermuda.
Outside of Bermuda.
You can't, until they get that cloning thing right.
The actual soap making side of it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love doing that. So for me, I'm able to make 600 bars in a day.
Yeah.
I can do that every 3 days, every 2 days. So that portion, and that's a lot of soap.
Yeah, that's a lot of soap.
That is a lot of soap at this point.
Like for Bermuda.
For
but
Bermuda,
like, yeah.
it's a lot of soap
Yeah.
to get out there. And, so when it comes to hiring, it's going to be for the packaging and shipping out. And
all the other things. Right.
And then eventually, because I have to work with chemicals and dangerous chemicals at that, it just can't put anybody there.
Right. Yeah, they have to be trained.
Soap. They have to be trained and have to be very aware of their surroundings and no distractions. Kind of like working in silence 8 hours a day, because the focus has to be there on what you're doing. And so I enjoy it. I do. I work in silence most days.
Yeah.
And people are like, really hard.
That's something you do.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. I'm used to just being peaceful.
Yeah.
It's peaceful. And so that, I think, adds to the process of it all.
Well, listen, I, for one, am thrilled to hear that you're going to, because I'm like, this is good stuff. Everybody should have a chance to experience it, right? And so I recognize that in order to do that, production has to go up. And how do you do that? Like, you love the soap making part, so you're like, if I can get somebody else to do the other things, then it does create an opportunity for you to push more out.
I am doing a course. I am in the Enterprise program, which has been wonderful, collaborating with the other business owners, and everyone's coming with their different ups, downs, and everything else. And then I am doing a course specific to soap makers, and so that is adding.
You're doing it now, or you're planning?
I'm doing it now.
Okay,
so I'm doing both like alongside each other, which is great.
Yeah.
So that I have that support all 100% around. And that is encouraging. And we were discussing the other day, and she's like, you need to get your production time down to 20%. And I'm like, that's impossible. I'm like, how? So I'm like, I'm not there yet, but it's a goal to look forward to, that I can make enough soap if I keep at it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be doing it as much as I am now.
Right.
So those are the things that are helpful in taking courses and, expanding yourself and recognizing that it's possible.
Yeah.
You just have to sit down and make it work.
Yeah. I would agree 100%. Like, make it so people been making so forever. Right? And so, yes, you have the way. Yeah. And so learning from others is not a bad thing, right? Especially if it can help you refine the process and cut down your time.
I'm very open to any business owner, entrepreneur, whether you've started or whether you haven't. I've been through the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. Spending out money and not getting return on it, and stressing, and then it gives you anxiety for the next time. You have to do it again, and it's like, but I got to the point where it's just trust myself, trust the universe, to put people in your space to help you, and the right people, and the opportunities have just flown from there. Even winning Rocket Pitch, so many people were stopping me after, and it was like, that many people tuned in. It was like, so it's the calls that came in to do vendors markets because of that, and that's the support that I've received since doing that has been phenomenal. So.
And, I want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important, especially since you said you weren't going to do it, right?
I wasn't.
And so what I'm hearing is that even though, like, you second guess yourself, and then when you actually do decide to take the risk and go out on a limb and do it, it actually bears fruit. It actually is beneficial.
And I will say, when I was still like, you guys have to submit a pitch, it was like, one more thing on my plate.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't know about this. But then I decided to just sit down. I went through each category and just figured out where can I place myself, create a pitch. I wasn't ready. Still working on laying the foundation for the pitch. Like, so when I was like, oh, do this, tourism, let's, get into the hotel. It was something that was just being talked about and discussed. And so it was like, am I ready to put this out there? Because, so many people feel like, oh, if I put my idea out there, somebody's going to take
Especially in Bermuda,
and run with it.
Yeah.
But
they can't take Felisa.
They can't take me. They can't take what I do. They can't take my formulations, right? They can try and duplicate it, but it's not going to be my product.
No,
it's not going to have my essence in it.
Right.
So I let that go. I sat down and I completed the application and everything. And when I heard others in our cohort saying, like, oh, I have to go in, and it was like, oh, I didn't get selected. Thank you. Because I was just like, I've got too much other things to do. And then it was like, couple days later, you're a finalist. It was like, how did this happen? And then it was like, I did not completely understand, like, the whole process of it all. I go to another meeting, and then everyone's like, you already won. And I'm like, how? It's like 6 of us pitching. And it was like, no, Felicia, it's 2 people in your category.
Yeah.
You just don't know how much you're going to receive.
Right.
And it was like, really? And then that switched, and it was like, oh, I'm in it to win it now.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation to that. And then I sat down with my accountant for 3 hours and ran over the numbers like a fine-tooth comb. And once I had that in my head, I knew that I was ready. Still hadn't quite written the pitch up until I stood up there and just rode with it. The cue cards I had, I dropped this like 3 times if I got up on stage. So they were a mess. So I literally was just up there just speaking from knowing my business.
Yeah.
And speaking from just...
And what I want to say about that is that whole competition was designed to be a catalyst,
Yes.
What you experienced is exactly why we started doing the Rocket Pitch competition 14 years ago.
Right.
Because you have the idea, it's been there.
It's there.
You had talked about it.
Sitting on it.
And it's like, well, what can we do to get people from the idea stage to actually starting? Like, it doesn't have to be finished or perfect, but just to push you. And now
I think in that at Hill experience, there were so many categories I could have answered, but I think choosing to go in a category that was so far outside of anything I had done previously was the best step that I could have done. Because then if I went in the regular step of just being, oh, this is what I do anyway, I would have just got lumped in with others.
Everybody else.
But choosing to go in a category that didn't seem like, well, where'd that come from? And was like, oh, well, yeah, let's run with that. And was like, okay. So now it's building on that because the market is there for it.
It is there for that. And I think, like you said, what you're providing is a piece of Bermuda.
Yeah.
Really? So when tourists come and they're like, oh, I can take this smell back with me. And now for you as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, they now are addicted to that smell.
Yes, they are.
And want it. And so now you create that opportunity for keeping customers, repeat customers, and all of that. And then your brand.
And recognizing which packaging works for which locations, which kind of tourists. Separating it all out, it's been a journey. It's been fun, and just looking forward to putting so many things and bringing, like, finally seeing the ideas, like having them, holding them in my hand and being able to pitch to hotels, vacation homes, other local businesses, to have these products in their stores.
I mean, why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Because you're buying the products anyway to put on, so why wouldn't you support a local business?
Like local all the way around.
All the way
like
local.
The
and are perfect quality.
Locally made.
Yeah.
It's just really focusing on that. And with what I do have planned, it's probably it's gonna be that's a whole different take, but it's gonna be exciting to see.
It is exciting. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you before we wrap up is how important is you at being in the brand of Dayrosa? Like, how important is it for you to be represented in the brand? Because some people are like, well, I'm just behind the scenes. I want it to be out. But to me, it seems like Dayrosa and you and the soaps, it's all encompassed.
Initially, I didn't want to be out front, just Bermuda. So, it's like, people don't like you. It's like, I'm not buying her products. You don't have to like me to buy my products. You may get it from someone else, but my products are amazing.
Yeah.
I stand on that. And I just think that remove the person from what you need. If you need it and they are there to provide it, go for it.
Yeah.
As a business owner, I don't have time to say, well, I'm not selling to you because, whatever reason. That goes out the door. When I'm at a vendor's market, when I'm selling, when I'm going to restock locations, many people have come to me and it's like, oh my God, I use your stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, it became about, I am a walking billboard.
Yeah.
People see me and they see my skin and they say, I can easily say, oh, I used to have eczema. Because I look as though I no longer do, but I still do have flare-ups. So I have to I still experience what others experience. So I'm always willing to help and share, and it just recognize that makes the business what it is.
Yeah.
The essence of who I am is poured into my business.
Right.
The essence of who I am, my spirituality is felt and passed on to clients when they come for massages, so that when they leave, they feel better than when they arrive.
Listen, I want to buy some soaps now.
But you need to pay it forward, right? It's about paying it forward as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just, just making sure that when people come through my door, every experience, every interaction, you try and make sure that people leave you better than they found you. Some days you have bad days, but even in those moments, you have to not try and pass that on to others. It's hard.
But it is, but you make an effort to do that.
You make an effort to do that.
So how can people find your soaps and book appointments to get massage? How do we get in touch with you?
The website is coming in 2023, so look out for that. But you can reach me by cell phone 505-4503, email info@dayrosia.com. My studio is on Church Street.
Okay.
I am located just through the alley, Joe's Alley, by Teachers Place building and the Children's Library.
Okay.
So,
And your products?
Yes.
How do we find the products?
In the studio.
Okay.
Yes. And you can also call me and I deliver. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I also have stock at Windy Bank Farmers Market.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
That's probably the easiest
way to
location.
find them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So more to come.
More to come. I'm looking forward to it. Like, there's opportunities, like you said, in addition to being in the hotel, to have it in other retailers and stuff. So.
And not just, Bermuda, but overseas as well is the goal. So to fully extend it, send it overseas. And when my current studio is too small and the boxes are stacked to the ceiling, the warehouse is coming. That's the eventual goal to... I've been told it's not possible to manufacture in Bermuda, but
you're doing it,
and I do it. So
I'm like, you're doing it. Yeah, you're
just
doing
gonna
it.
grow it, and I see the growth of the future to come.
All right. Well, I'm all here for it. I'm glad you allowed BDC to become part of your journey. Because seeing the progress that you make and the willingness that you have to take advantage of some of the opportunities that we put forward, I'm hoping that other people see that and they're like, well, if they're willing to give it, I'm gonna take it. Because
it's there. It's not easy because you do have to. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Committing 100% to making it work in a pandemic. Yeah, that was a big jump. And so I say to like I said, thinking about it, if you're putting a business plan together and you just want to talk to somebody, my doors are always open.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's not easy. And,
no, it's not.
As much as we had a CEO group meeting the other day, and I just said, everyone thinks that they're alone on the journey and what the experience is no one else is going through. But every entrepreneur that you talk to has experienced each problem, whether it's whatever industry they're in, they've all experienced that. Financial, employees, just family support in any way. We've all been through it. And so, like, our journey is not singular.
It doesn't, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
You can reach out to me at any time, and people do. And, you know, I'm honest about how hard business is because people need to know that.
Yeah.
It's not just,
and ready themselves.
Yeah, you
right?
know, I've seen many businesses come and go, and you still have to have faith in yourself.
Yeah.
To go on, and sometimes you do close up shop and move on to other things,
and that's okay.
Fine. That's okay.
That's part of it.
But it helps to really have a support and a team that you can go to and talk to, and
for sure
to know that, like, you're not going through this alone.
No,
you don't have to.
You don't have to, and that's the key. That's the key.
You don't have to. So.
Well, thank you, girl. Thank you for sharing a little bit and minding your business with us. And we always say here as we wrap it up that if you don't mind your business, who will?
That's right.
And that's the honest to God truth.
They say mind the business that pays you.
Hey,
so.
now.
That's what it's all about. Mind the business that pays you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.